is right, the time is right. Here tonight, the time is right, the time is right. Night is the night, night is the night. I'll give it my all, give it my all. See stars in your eyes, stars in your eyes. I'm 10 feet tall, 10 feet tall. When I'm with
파워 샐러드랑 브리또.
First day I saw you since long ago, I still remember it was so cold, and you were warming up with some green tea. You asked me, can you lend me sugar? You grabbed the shaking bowl and shook her, and you put all the sugar right on me. And what a crash, what a crash. Felt the sudden sugar rush as you sang me your apologies. And when the second day we met by chance, what a sweet coincidence to find the sugar girl right next to me. Decided it's time to introduce myself. Your name that came with an address that led me to my favorite night in years. Just 7 days.
작품이다, 작품.
I feel the liquor holding on to my breath, playing back every word that I said. I'm sitting in the dark, reminiscing on the two of us. I didn't think you'd leave, baby, I guess I was just thinking that wasn't my best. We had everything, it was gone before the summer started. Got the memory of a love, filling my lonely nights. Still think about you from time to time. I'm not asking you to come over, just wanna hit your line.
하늘이 진짜
Baby,
가깝다.
one more time. So
진짜
tomorrow
멋있다.
morning, can I call you when the sun comes up? Just to hear the way you say my name, it reminds me of when it was us. Would you answer if I called you?
와,
Yeah, I
진짜
know that
멋있다.
it's been a while. So tomorrow, can I call you when the sun comes up? Call you when the sun comes up.
아, 이렇게 높은 산에 꽃이 피어 있어. 아, 너무 예쁘다.
I'll take this beating heart out of my chest.
어떻게 이렇게 노란 꽃이
Let
피었어?
my words do the rest. Can we light up a spark, bring a fire to the dark? Girl, you know that I need you. I got the memory of a love, filling my lonely nights.
아, 이렇게 시냇물이 흐른다. 아, 예쁘다.
And I don't wanna
아,
be lonely
예쁘다.
when winter is freezing
강아지.
and trees start to blow. And I don't wanna be sitting alone in a room that's just filled with my soul. And so I came to this place, I'm looking for a familiar face, and that's when I saw you.
오랜만에 멜론 먹을까? 조그만
'Cause
걸로.
you don't know me and I don't know you, but it
그때 우리
breaks my
먹었던 게
heart
바닐라였는데.
when you're looking so blue on the
바닐라?
last stop. And I don't wanna be lonely when winter is freezing and trees start to blow. And I don't wanna be sitting alone in a room that's just filled with my soul. And so I came to this place, I'm looking for a familiar face, and that's when I saw you. 'Cause you don't know me and I don't know you, but it breaks my heart when you're looking so blue on the last stop. day here. I just picked your name on the coffee cup. But a stroke of luck, the guy just messed up and gave your cup to me.
사슴이야. 귀여워. 귀여워.
Oh, no, 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 no.
안녕, 사슴아.
No, 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 no. And so we're swapping our cups, and after a while, we're swapping a glass. And I can't think nothing better. I started a year with a drop of romance. Cause I came to this place
우리 저녁 식사.
looking for a familiar face, and that's
핑크색.
when I met you.
맛있겠다.
Maybe we'll make the millions or have ourselves some children. Oh, what our love could do. Maybe we'll live in Vegas or a house with picket fencing. Oh, what our love could do. If I got you, babe, you got me. There ain't nothing we couldn't be. From year 1 to year 52. Oh, what our love could do. Maybe we'll pick up fishing or start a family business. Oh, what our love could do. Maybe we'll find some best friends or a dog named Fred, and that's it. Oh, what our love could do. If I got you, babe, you got me. There ain't nothing we couldn't be. From year 1 to year 52. Oh, what our love could do. Oh, what our love could do. Honey, oh, what our love could do.
여기 비버거 사나봐. 와, 저게 비버가 지은 집이래요.
Something that makes us complete when we finally see.
뷰 좋다.
Here with the sun on our backs, it's all we need. Together with hearts intertwined, there's nothing quite like it. There's love enough to go around. golden bell across the room, laughing over wine, losing track of time. That should be me. Oh, that should be me. With my arm wrapped around her waist, dancing through the night, dizzy with delight. That should be me. Lavishing you with ruby rings and diamonds too. Sail across the ocean blue, making all of our dreams come true. Strolling far from home, horizon looking like a sunset dream. And not talking, water crashing, evening feeling like a postcard scene. 'Cause it's just us two, dancing with the moon, my arms wrapped around you. Sea of diamonds, I can tell the difference to your eyes. Morning's coming, we're not rushing. Lie with you until the end of time. 산장에 놀러 온 것 같아.
귀엽다.
오, 예쁘다.
이 색깔 있어.
그렇지. 소리 너무 좋다. 32.95불. 와, 피스타치오 색깔 같지 않은데? 땡큐. 와, 장난 아니야. 와, 이런 건 또 처음 먹어본다. 진짜 눈이다. 와, 하늘이 진짜 가깝다. 와. 맥주를 직접 만든대. 괜찮다. 조그만 거.
저런 거 먹봐, 저런 거.
저런 거 아니야? 완전 그냥 테이스팅이네.
오! 맛있어?
와, 되게 달달해.
Bring down all the lights, let me hold you close. I'm full of loose ends, will you be my rose? Waited my whole life, and now I know. My love won't budge. My love won't fade after the preview. We only get one life. I won't live mine without you. Come on, stormy. I'll stay solid when you're distant. I'll keep falling. My love will fall through. I thought I was done, but you never are. There's always a chance in a beating heart. I'll give you my best. I think that's a start.